Hi, everyone. Hi. We're so thrilled that you were able to join us and that you're here with us today. It's a very exciting day. It is the launch of Harbor 5.0. My name is Caitlin Coyne, and I'm the director of go to market here at Harbor. For those of you who aren't entirely familiar with what we do, we are a data platform that enables data commerce and data sharing. Today, we're going to be covering off some of our core features and the updates that come along with this 5.0 version. It's the latest and greatest version of Harbor yet. So, first, we're going to be hearing from our CTO, Ian, and he's going to be talking about our federated data lake. This allows you to control and govern data no matter where it's stored. Next, we're going to be hearing from our co founder, Anthony Cosgrove, and he's going to be talking to us about the private data marketplace. This feature really supports the self service discovery, access, and evaluation of data products. And finally, we're going to be hearing from Marvin Reynolds, who is our head of customers, and he's going to talk to us about the updates to Spaces. This is a feature that brings data products to life for a range of data consumers. We're so proud of this launch and all of the updates that we've made to Harbor, and I can't wait to introduce you to all these new features. Additionally, we're going to be showing a new sneak preview of our first ever AI functionality that actually makes it possible for anyone, no matter their skill set, to query data and gain insights. So we've got a lot to cover. Let's get going. I'm going to kick it over to you, Martin.
Thanks, Caitlin. Hello, and welcome to the launch of Harbor 5.0. My name is Martin McDonald. I'm in the infrastructure team here at Harbor, and over the next half hour, you are going to hear from the talented leadership team here at Harbor. Up first is our CTO, Ian Niven Bowling. You're going to kick us off with the technical bits, specifically the federated data lake. Now, tell us, 5.0, been a very long time coming, and it's all very exciting. How did we get here?
Fundamentally, what we're trying to do is we're trying to help take a really technical subject like data lakes, data warehouses, lake houses, and make it really accessible to a non-technical user. And so what we've done with 5.0 is we've really reimagined what it means to onboard data and make it easy to work with when you come from a non-technical background, right? So when you're working with the system, what you have now is you have these kind of three important components: connectors, assets, and products. And really, the federated data lake covers the first two: connectors and assets.
Now, as a data practitioner using the Harbor platform, I could access data stored in S3 and Azure Blob storage without having to move the data.
100%. And that's, that's at the heart of the idea of the federatedness of the lake, right? Is that, we believe and we see and we've experienced the world that is the messy world of storage of data, right? And so fundamentally, what we do is we make sure that we're very malleable to what our customers' needs are, right? So some customers may have a huge estate centralized within Snowflake or within Databricks, and they want a way for their consumers to be able to manage and productize their data. Perfect, right? But we've also got customers where they need a data lake and they need data stored within the platform to help with distribution or to speed up query times, but also need the ability to work with data wherever it is. And so, from our perspective, we don't like to pigeonhole ourselves in like, is it a data lake? Is it a lake house? Is it a data mesh? We mold and change ourselves to fit the dynamic environment of our customers.
And when you've got different data sources, obviously there's different needs. So, at Harbor, we get it, which is why we've got a lot of flexibility in the platform. And we've talked about connectors a lot internally before. So that's what makes it all possible. But for the uninitiated, can you explain a little bit on what a connector is?
Connectors are really basically a way to manage connectivity with source systems. So when you create one, you give it a name, you choose the type of connector it is, you set it up, and you're off to the races, right? This can be used for querying, exporting, and copying data into the platform.
Okay, sounds easy enough. So if we go back to our data practitioner example that we were talking about just before, Ian, if there's a connector in place, then a practitioner can obviously use the data from that connector. They don't have to build out an entire data product though. So how do assets come into play?
The asset is the place where you fundamentally defining the data. So imagine the connector has access to 100 tables. The asset is saying that this table or this file means this, right? So imagine this is where you give it a name, you define the metadata, you define how you want it to be treated, whether you want it copied onto the platform or left at source. But this is fundamentally the unit that you are governing, and this is what you share with others when it comes to being used across the platform.
Well, it's all sounding really simple so far, Ian. So we've got our connectors. We're using our connectors to create assets. What do we do with the assets once we've created them?
Products. It's all about products at that stage. And products is probably the area where we've done the most redesign. So before 5.0, it was a very linear process, which didn't cater for collaboration and asynchronous working almost at all, right? Now, what we've done is we've reimagined the process, and now what you can do is you can get a product to a state that it's ready for launch, and make it fit within your internal workflow. So this is where you can define any combination of assets, whether it's tables, files, you name it, you can combine them. You can put packaging on top of that. You can manage subscriptions, so all the permissioning around it. And you can also manage visibility of that on the exchange. So this is really the stage where you start to curate your exchange and marketplace so that the product really comes to life.
So we've got assets in, we've got products, but you've also got a way of seeing all of your different assets and products and some other parts of data as well.
100%. And that's my collection. And that's a brand new feature that's been introduced in 5.0. And this is a place, a bit like imagine working with Google Drive, where you can see everything that you've created, everything that's been shared with you, and everything that you've subscribed to. So it's a combination of all the assets and products that you are able to use. So whether that's in spaces or in export, but this is your single place to go when you're working with your data.
Well, Ian, thank you very much for taking the time to walk us through connectors, assets, and product. Have you got any final thoughts you'd like to share with us on 5.0?
It feels like a giant leap forward in terms of realizing our vision, right? Which at the core of it, we believe that for an organization to really realize the value out of data, there needs to be a culture within that really fosters that creativity and imagination and curiosity around data. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks that we come across is the barrier, the skills barrier for people to work with it. And 5.0 really takes us a huge leap forward in making data more accessible to a wider range of people.
Harbr making data more accessible to a wider range of people. Ian Niven Bowling, thank you. That is a great setup for the other new AI feature we're going to be talking about later on. Now, until then, thank you for walking us through the federated data lake. All of those elements, the connectors, the assets, and the products, all comes together to create wonderful consumer experiences in the marketplace. And here to tell us more about that is Harbr co-founder Anthony Cosgrove. Anthony, thank you for joining us. I know you were a frustrated data practitioner, which is why you've started Harbr. And the marketplace is obviously synonymous with anyone who's used the Harbr platform before. But in 5.0, it's new and improved. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, so we'll take it right from the top. Can you tell us all what is the marketplace?
Sure. So, just for the uninitiated, marketplace has been a core feature of Harbor since the first version we ever built, and it's the place where data producers create and deploy their products to their consumers, and it's where consumers come to engage in self-service discovery and comparison of data products, and then ultimately subscribe to those and start using them.
So when we think about the marketplace, we usually refer to the three different types of users, which is the platform owner, the data producers and the data consumers. So tell us what's new for each of these different types of users in Harbor's 5.0 platform.
Yeah, so within 5.0, we've made really extensive changes. So there's kind of something for everyone. For the owners of a Harbor platform, they're able to brand, adapt, and change the marketplace and deliver a very curated experience for each individual user. So there are marketing components. They can control who sees and interacts with which features and which products. They're able to see and understand how people are using it. So they've got really unparalleled visibility and control over everything that happens within that marketplace. So with 5.0, a platform owner or a data product manager is able to manage and control which data products each individual and each organization is able to see. They can control how those products are consumed, and they're able to change and adapt the look and feel of that marketplace in a way that's optimal for a target persona.
So platform admins have got that flexibility, right? And they can control who sees what data and what they can actually do with that data. But what about data producers? What can data producers do on the platform?
For data producers, we've completely re engineered the process of creating a product. So, not only are you now able to create a product from any type of data asset, so it might be a structured table, it might be a notebook, it might be something as simple as a PDF that you want a senior executive to read, but those data assets can be stored absolutely anywhere. Additionally, we've created very collaborative asynchronous processes in order to create and then manage that product on an ongoing basis, recognizing that you often need a range of different skills and individuals involved.
So being able to share data assets on the platform that are stored anywhere, that's a really huge win, particularly for large data teams as well. But what about the benefits to the data consumer?
For data consumers, they get products that are frankly better. Those products are able to contain lots of different assets and therefore are able to be adapted and shaped to very specific use cases for different types of personas. So you don't have to be a data practitioner to benefit from a data product that's within a Harbor marketplace. It might be something as simple as a range of files or even a simple spreadsheet or a visualization that you're able to consume, but it's been put there by a more technical user. The opposite is also true. If you're a data scientist and you're looking for raw data in large volume, or you're looking to exchange notebooks with different collaborators, the marketplace also works for you.
Well, it's all exciting stuff, Anthony. Can you tell us a little bit more, though, about how the Harbor marketplace experience is different from other marketplaces?
With 5.0 and marketplaces, we feel we've gone significantly beyond the capability of any public data marketplace. The level of flexibility, the level of control, and the extent of what you can actually turn into a product is significantly more than you would get anywhere else.
Yeah, that's great. And when we talk about it, it really can mean so many different things. How does Harbor handle the diversity that's inherent in data?
When the data product manager, and it may be an entire data product management team, when they're in the process of building a product, Harbor doesn't force them to conform to a particular model or standard of what a data product should be. It's really up to them. It doesn't have to be structured data. It doesn't have to be unstructured data. It can be any combination of any data assets. In fact, a data product doesn't even have to have data within it. They might be using it as a billboard, it may be a draft, they may be working through it. So that level of flexibility is incredibly important for our customers because it allows them to conform the platform to their business rather than having to conform their business or their data to the platform.
I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit more about the data consumer experience?
When you click on a product, you go to this product page and it's really rich. Within there, you have icons, you have images, you have descriptions. You're able to understand what the product is about. And new for 5.0, we now have the list of all of the assets that the product contains. And when you click on that, you're able to see what those assets are. So they might be structured tables of data, they might be notebooks, they might be PDFs, they might be other types of files that deliver a value proposition. You're then able to drill down into those and find out even more about each of those individual assets. On the product page, what you can also see are interactive visualizations. So the product managers are actually able to not just describe the data, but they're actually able to show the data to the consumer, and the consumer can click on that and play around with that before they've even subscribed. Once a consumer has looked through that product page and decided that this is the right product for them, they're able to subscribe with just a single click. The subscription engine that underpins access and control of the data products is really adaptable and flexible to any type of environment.
So it's great that a consumer can subscribe quickly. How are you able to control the parameters of a subscription as a data producer?
Data product managers are able to control everything from terms and conditions, on platform or off platform usage. They're able to time box access. It can be single user, multi user. They can add pricing if it's commercial. They can add commercial terms and conditions, or simply an internal usage policy. So every control that they could conceive of is embedded in those subscription plans. And when a consumer subscribes to a product, they're agreeing to them. But more importantly, the platform will enforce those controls automatically.
Now, Anthony, I'm going to put you on the spot. When it comes to 5.0 on the Harbr platform, what are you most excited about?
The thing I'm most excited about, which kind of leans into marketplace, is seeing what people are going to make. The flexibility that we've put into this feature, the ability for people to really adapt their products to specific value propositions for specific personas is just incredibly exciting. And I can't wait to see what people actually make and the kind of value propositions that come out of the end of it.
Anthony Cosgrove, co-founder, thanks for joining me today. Well, same great marketplace, and now with loads of brand new features. Next up on our whistle-stop tour of the Harbr 5.0 platform is Marvin Reynolds, Head of Account Management and Customer Success. Marvin, you're here to tell us about Spaces.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you about Spaces and the 5.0 release. The three things I'd really like to talk about are the federation of data assets using Spaces, using raw data assets in Spaces, as well as using a range of different asset types within those spaces.
Well, excited to hear all about it. Now, for those who aren't so familiar with the Harbr platform, how would you define Spaces?
Yeah, spaces are a secure collaboration environment that bring people, tools, and data together in a really easy and simple way. They're created on demand as needed, so data users can immediately start working on data without the usual challenges associated with getting a data environment.
And what are some of the typical challenges that users face when trying to work with data?
Making requests to their technology team, the time it takes to provision that data environment, and a host of other challenges associated with handing off a task to someone else.
And Marvin, Harbr streamlines this process. How does Spaces do that?
When a user needs to create a space on the Harbr platform, they just need to choose the tools, choose the data, and choose the collaborators they wish to work with. A couple of clicks, and the environment gets created for them on demand.
Well, it sounds simple enough. What kind of work do people typically do once they've created a space?
Yeah, they're used for a range of activities any data practitioner would typically be asked to do. Evaluating data, making data better suited to a use case, model development and execution, and many others.
Right, and Spaces is not a new feature, but there is a lot of new functionality. One of the updates being that you can now use assets within Spaces. So, how do federated data assets work within Spaces?
What that means is the user can use a space as a method of federation of data assets and join data that's sitting in Snowflake, data that's sitting in Azure, data that's sitting off platform or on platform, and execute those queries without ever having to understand the technology or technologies that is underpinning that query. Using this ability to federate your data assets means that users no longer need to centralize their data in order to access that data in a seamless and cross-functional way.
Yeah, so it's a unified place to work with data without having to move it. Can you tell us a bit about bringing raw data assets and how you can work with that in spaces?
The ability to bring raw data into a space really enables a data practitioner to refine that data towards a specific use case or potentially moving that data into a data product.
Yeah, that's great. And within spaces, you can use data products and raw data together.
In order to get value from data products, often users need to combine that data product with other data. So, bringing in raw data and combining that in a space with a data product means that the practitioner can get the value they want from that data product.
You also mentioned diverse data assets. What is a diverse asset?
So, data assets can now be anything, which means that you can use the data asset to drive a specific outcome or experience within a space.
Can you give us an example of how this would add value to a space?
You can add data assets which are a visualization and accompany that with a data asset which is the underpinning data. When you bring these two things together into a space, the user can access the visualization and the insight, and can also explore the data that's being used for that visualization.
So, a visualization would help you understand the data. Are there other assets that can help to gain insights faster?
We can add notebooks alongside data. So rather than leaving a user to access that data and discover interesting things about that data themselves, you can guide them through a particular journey using that notebook. So you can also provide notebooks to users which allow them to access models or APIs that have been provisioned inside the Harbor ecosystem. So the user can bring their data, raw or otherwise, into the space and use that notebook to access services and capabilities and allow that user to get value from their data.
What's the real benefit of these diverse data assets?
So the benefit of having a range of different asset types means that users can be offered specific experiences and capabilities alongside the data that they bring into a space to help them get value from that data and move them through a particular journey.
Well, it sounds like a lot of great updates. Now, I've asked Ian and Anthony the same question, so I'm going to put you on the spot and ask, what is it about the release of 5.0 that you are most excited about?
For me, the combination of all those updates to spaces allows us to work with our customers to help them bring their data to life. We're always working with our customers to help their users get to insights faster. And the combination of all those features really enables that. The ability to bring more tools and a variety of assets to spaces helps us shorten the time to value. And for me, that's what I'm most excited about.
Well, thanks, Marvin. That's Marvin Reynolds, Head of Account Management and Customer Success here at Harbor. And we've seen a lot from our Harbor leadership team. And I am super excited to bring Ian back to talk to us about Gen AI. He's going to talk to us about this brand new feature called Insights.
So the insights area is a really cool area that's coming out. It is going to be early access at this point because it is something we're still working through, still developing, but we are super excited about it. And at the heart of it, it's all about helping people that are typically more your business users interact with data through natural language, right? So they'll be able to ask a question, which could be as simple as, what is the trend of Apple's stock prices over the last 3 weeks? And it will do all the clever stuff in the background to generate the SQL, to execute that against the data, and then return back a really user friendly answer along with the raw results for someone to work with.
So, what you're saying with Insights is basically that gap from A to B is bridged between sort of no code language and the Harbor platform.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And one of the really important things that was top of mind throughout this journey was that, you know, a lot of people that want to work with data, need to work with data, don't necessarily know the language of data, right? So SQL and Python are the predominant languages around data. And so just exactly like you say, right? We generate the SQL on the back end, and then we actually bring that back to the user to be able to see, because we don't want it to be a black box, right? So they can take that SQL and then start to play with it, right? So there is a SQL editor that they can flip into, which allows them to adjust it or change it or to write their own SQL. So they can flip between the two views so that they're conversational in natural language, but it also gives them an opportunity to learn the skills when you start to delve into more technical tools.
And what is the interface like that people can expect to see when they're using this early access feature?
Really, really simple. So when you're looking at my collection, against an asset, you'll see a new button called Query. You'll click on Query, and what will happen is a modal will open, and you will be prompted to ask a question. You will be able to switch between asking a question or writing your own SQL. But it's a really intuitive interface that allows you to get to that insight quickly.
Well, that all looks great, Ian. You mentioned that this is in early access. So, what's on the roadmap for the generative insights on Harbor V5?
Yeah. So once we get through early access and beta testing, we'll release a general availability version of that, and that'll be available for all clouds, all sources of data.
Amazing. Thank you, Ian. Well, that's all looking really good on generative insights for Harbor 5.0. And it's really exciting to see that people, not unlike myself, who aren't too experienced in SQL and Python, are going to get a good chance to take part in the big wide world of data science. So thanks for taking us through that. And thank you all for coming today. Now, before I go and throw it back over to Caitlin, just want to remind you that you can go to harbordata.com and book a demo if you're interested in any of this and want to learn some more about it. It's harbordata.com. You can find our wonderful website there. And it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with our leadership team about Harbor 5.0. Back over to you, Caitlin.
Wow. I'm so excited about all of these new features and updates to the Harbor platform, particularly the AI functionality. It seems like it's really going to move the needle on generating business value from data. Whether you're a technical user or a non-technical user, it's going to help people get to insights faster. If you're interested in learning more about Harbor, please head over to our website, harbordata.com, where you can schedule a demo or sign up to join the waitlist for the free trial version of the Harbor platform. I can't thank you enough for spending this time with us today, and I can't wait to see all of the great things you're going to do with this new functionality and these new features to help drive business value at scale. Thanks again for coming. Again, the website is harbordata.com. That's HARBR data.com for either a demo or to join the waitlist for the free trial version. Thanks again. I hope you have a great day. Bye.